life, love, relationships.
Wait, we're gonna give away all our secrets?
Welcome to The Man Perspective
With Kane Man.
and The Dawn.
On today's episode of The Man Perspective, we're talking about the current political climate with the passing of Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg and now President Trump's new nominee to fill her spot. I want to know, do you think that president should hold off on confirming a new justice until the next president is elected, or should he just go right ahead and do it? What do you think?
Well, that was a big issue last year when Obama was in that same predicament. And it was like, you know what, you should wait because it's not fair. And he went along and picked his nominee, and who was a Democrat, and that was that.
Was the nominee confirmed?
Yeah, nominee was confirmed. And the thing about it is that all the Republicans said we wouldn't do that if it was in our, if the ball was in our court, we would wait. It's only right. We should wait being at this election. And here it is. It is an election coming up, and he's not waiting. I think, me in particular, my opinion is that I felt he should have waited for the simple reason that this poor lady passed away. And to me, I just felt it was a little disrespectful. I mean, they didn't even put her in the ground. And he already nominated his pick. And I'm like, gee, you could at least wait until they buried her, give like a 10-day mourning.
Yeah.
But dude, she wasn't even in the ground. She was still being viewed in the rotunda at the U.S. Capitol, and you already picked your nominee. I just thought that was just wrong. To me personally, I just wouldn't have done it that way. I just felt it was very disrespectful, on his part to not continue on and wait. You know what I mean? Because hell, he still has another, 2 months before election. And to be honest with you, he really has until January 3rd to choose.
Yeah. Is it January 20th?
Yeah, to choose, actually. But, he still got until November to really choose. So he could say, you know what, I'll make a selection in October, for example, right before, he could do it that way. At least that would be, a couple weeks, everything's gone, everything died down. Then he could say, okay, I'm going to make my nominee to fill that spot. But to do it and you didn't even put the lady in the ground, it's like a cold slap in the face, if you ask me.
I do think he should submit his nominee, let the process begin. But I do think that, yes, I mean, the lady passed. She was a Supreme Court justice.
Give her some respect,
Yeah, give her the respect.
Let it die down.
Give it a month, right?
Give it a month, right? And then you can, make your pick.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I get it why he wants to make that pick, because in the chance that he does lose the presidency, the court is going to be upheld.
Yeah.
With the Republican in favor. And so a lot of things that were, people had been fighting for, like abortion and things like that, is now a possibility they can overturn that.
I don't know if they'd overturn, what is it?
Oh, yeah, they will overturn that. Roe versus Wade, they would love to overturn that. And the reason they haven't been doing it these past couple of years is because it's been more of a Democratic aligning. Like, I think it was 5-4, more or less, more Democratic than Republican. Yeah. But now that tends to change. All it takes is for somebody to, put a case before them.
Hey, ladies, I know it's hot outside right now, and you're on the beach in bikinis or in the club at night, tearing it up, but cuffing season's coming. So, you get your man, you get on the couch, and you listen to The Man Perspective.
With K-Man and The Dawn.
I just don't know if that would be smart to turn over Roe versus Wade. And I say that really because I think there would be a pretty big uproar about it.
Well, the sad part is the nominee that he chose, it was an Amy somebody. I forgot her last name.
I did too.
She's in favor of
turning it over?
Yeah, because she's not for abortion.
Yeah, I think she's a pretty devout Christian.
She's pro-life.
Yeah.
Which is fine. But what cracks me up is that I feel that choice should be made for a woman.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I
Woman should
mean,
be the one to make that choice. Us as men, to be honest with you, that's why to me it really don't make it. It don't matter to me because my voice doesn't count.
yeah,
I can sit there and plead with a woman all day long. Hey, baby, please, please, please have my baby, please. And she say, nope,
yeah,
I'm not going through with it. And it's her body, and she's gonna do what she's gonna do, and I can't have a word. Now, I believe there should be a law for that because it does take two to
yeah.
make a baby, correct? So if it takes two to make a baby, a man should have some sort of a decision to make and whether or not he chooses to have that baby.
Yeah, I can understand that.
I always put the blame more so on the man because if he doesn't want to have a baby, then he needs to wrap it up.
Yes.
But when he doesn't wrap it up and then he gets her pregnant, there's no such a thing as you're a little pregnant, right?
Nope.
So when he does get her pregnant, understand the choice you just made by not wrapping it up. She has full rights to do whatever she wants to do.
Yeah.
And the guy can't say anything.
Nope. Nope.
You could plead all you want, oh please, or don't have it. And she says, well, I'm going to have it whether you like it or not. Yeah, but I can't afford it. Well, so what? I'm going to have it anyway, whether you like it or not. Now the guy's sitting there with a baby he really doesn't want. But then again, he should have thought about it and wrapped it up.
Yeah.
But he did. And now she's in the position to make that choice. You follow what I'm saying? The Supreme Court's not going to be able to make that determination, but they can switch it and say, you know what? If you get a girl pregnant, you can't get an abortion. By no means. If that law comes down, what do you think the response would be?
Probably not good. I think there'd be a lot of uproar if it was overturned.
The only reason, and I would say two reasons as to why a child may need to be aborted. One is if the child was raped, meaning she didn't ask for it
Mm.
and she was raped. Now you subjecting her having a child that she didn't want. You follow what I'm saying? That was a result of a crime,
Yeah.
which is rape. And I don't think we should put a woman through that. That's my opinion. I just don't think, that should be fair on her part.
Yeah.
Because if I was a woman and I was raped, I wouldn't want to have the baby, knowing that it wasn't out of love. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was out of violence and out of a crime.
Yeah.
So I don't want to adhere to that.
You know who can cure coronavirus? The Man Perspective.
We got the vaccine. So tune in to the Man Perspective with K-Man
and the Don.
Now, if you're just two young kids and the guy ain't wearing protection, the girl ain't wearing protection, and boop, she get pregnant, well then yeah, maybe you should have that baby.
Yeah.
If you're man enough and woman enough to do the do, then you got to deal with the responsibility. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just the way it is.
Mhm.
And, a lot of people get caught out there like that and they get put in that situation. That's where the poverty kicks in because you're taking care of a child that you really can't afford. So then what are you really doing for that child? Nothing. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you're not giving this child other than life. You're giving the child life, and I agree with you on that. But you're not really preparing anything for the future
Yeah.
because you have no future yourself. So how now you bringing a baby into this world? It's kind of sad, but this is the predicament you put it in.
Yeah.
But now, like you said, a lot of abortion clinics are getting under fire, because now they're in a situation where there's protests going on. So if there's a abortion center, people going to protest, block the entrance so that people can't go in there and have an abortion. If you're a woman who's been out there, you're on the streets or whatever, and you getting pregnant all the time, and then, you keep going into these abortion centers for like 3 or 4 times, after a while, they're going to be like, you know what? This is not cool.
Yeah.
We can't keep aborting these kids because you are not responsible to protect yourself.
Yeah.
So that's a whole another issue in itself. But like I said, if it comes down to that law and they throw that hammer down and say, you know what? Now, if you get a woman pregnant, that woman must have that child. I don't know what the woman going to have to go through. You know what I mean? Everything else, hey, that's on y'all. But rape is something they didn't ask for. You follow what I'm saying? That's the only reason
Yeah.
why I say that's a big deal because you didn't really ask for that. You follow?
Yeah.
And I understand you want to bring a life in, but that's not a great way of bringing a life in, knowing that you was a product of a rape. You didn't want it. It wasn't out of love. You follow what I'm saying? And, I don't think it's right for you to be put in that situation to now struggle because you didn't ask for that. You follow?
Yeah.
You didn't ask for that. That happened. It's sad, but it happened, and you didn't ask for that. And that can be your future on whether or not you're going to make it or you're not going to make it. You follow? I'm not saying that because you got raped and you have a child that you're not going to, you can still make it, you can still have a good job and all like that. But it's that much more of a difficult struggle for you to do that at that young age if you're raped. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Because you didn't really ask for that.
No.
And now that you have that, now you got to raise this child and raise yourself, as well as try to provide for this child, as well as provide for yourself. And now that puts you into a situation where you become a single mother quicker than you should have been.
Yeah.
Now, now you can't afford the education that you want. You can't afford the education for your son that you want, or child, or girl, or whatever you have. You understand? So those things you got to take in consideration. See, it's easy for us to look at it from the outside than to be a person that's on the inside.
Absolutely.
You follow? Like, I would always ask a lot of those pro-life people, well, what if you was raped? Yeah, they'd be quick to say, oh, yeah, I have it. You really? Do you think so?
That's what they say, but...
Right, that's what you say. But what if you was young and you had a baby? Would you still feel the same way? See, now you're going to think about it. See, it's different if you raped when you're 30 or 20.
Oh, yeah.
You understand? You had a baby. But now what if you was 16 and you was raped?
Well, I mean, that's a whole different ball game at that point.
Right.
Because 20 or 30, you're established.
Right. You hope to be.
Well,
but
yeah.
I mean, but those are the things that come into play.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't look at that. You follow what I'm saying? They don't look at that. So that's an issue they have to look at first and say, okay, I'm put in this predicament. Yeah, I'm more for pro-life, and I would want you to have pro-life, and I think populate the world, as they say.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It's all good. But when you didn't ask for it, then it's kind of like, well, gee, now you're put into a predicament where they're forcing you to do that.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like what the Supreme Court can do, is they can easily switch it and say, you know what? Now, from now on, anybody who gets pregnant, they got to have the baby. I don't care. No ifs, ands, or buts. Now, what's going to happen?
I don't know.
That's a heck of a thing to think about. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's a hell of a thing to think about. What are you going to do if that law comes down from the Supreme Court that says, you know what? From now on, anytime a woman gets pregnant, you got to deal with it. And if you got a guy that doesn't have a job and he ain't looking to really support you, now it makes it even more difficult. You follow what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So now you got a deadbeat dad, right, who doesn't care. And he's going around getting women pregnant and knowing that, hey, he don't have to take care of them at some point, because either way, the woman has to bear that child, whether she likes to or not. Then she got to run around, try to chase the guy down to get some money. And 9 out of 10, he probably don't have any money because he's,
Yeah.
here, there, and everywhere. So it's something to think about.
You know what they're saying? We're about to go into the dark winter, a coronavirus winter. So, you know what you need to do. Cuddle up on the couch, put your mask on, and tune into The Man Perspective. Don't go anywhere. After these commercial breaks, you better sit down and tune back in, because things are about to get crazy. With K-Man and the Dog.
The fact that he's able to, as a president, to say, you know what, I have an opportunity to tip the scale and change the Supreme Court by nominating a Republican, nominating somebody that has his same type of values and so forth. That's huge.
That's true.
That's huge, because I believe the 2 or 3 justices that did pass away, remember, they were all Democrats.
That's true.
Justice Marshall, right? He was Democrat. He was one of the first to pass away, and he was Democrat. Thurgood Marshall, he's one of the first that passed away, Democrat. And then
Scalise,
right?
Yeah.
And now Ruth
Yeah.
Bader Ginsburg. And so now you have 3 Democrats that passed away that they have to replace now with Republicans. Now it tips the scale 6-3. You know what I'm saying? 5-4 or whatever. So something to think about. But yeah, he's in a situation to do it. I just thought maybe the timing is wrong for him to do it. Pretty sad, to be honest with you. And I say it's sad because he didn't even get a chance to let the woman get in the grave before he chose his pick.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think he should go forward with his nominee, but it should have been delayed just out of respect.
We all know he's going to pick them anyway, and I knew that's what he's going to do anyway, because he already said if he doesn't win, he's not going anywhere. So
Yeah.
I'd like to see that. I'd really like to see that. Just that alone, I'd like to see him lose so they can see if he's actually going to stay there like he said he is. But however, unlike other countries, because there's been a lot of dictators to say, hey, if I lose, I ain't going nowhere. And you got to have a coup. And then, then the military has to come in. And sometimes the military says, hey, that person, we like who we like. You know what I mean? So they're not going to remove him because as long as he's paying us good, I care less.
It would be one entertaining shit show.
Right. But now, because he said so many bad things about the military now, the Marines said they don't want to deal with it. The Army said we don't want to be involved. Okay. The Navy and Air Force people said, we ain't got nothing to do with it. So they kind of like, hey, he's on his own as far as who's going to secure him or who's going to drag him out. But they already said they're not getting involved. Now, in other places, in other countries, the military does get involved. You know that. They get involved big time, and it gets to the point where they'll keep a person in as long as they can, as long as they're paying their military. But as soon as they stop paying their military,
yep.
You're out the door.
Yeah.
That's how that works. You can say all you want, but as soon as those checks stop coming, and now somebody else gets elected, and they win, oh yeah, they're gonna drag you out quick fast. And it's happened. That's why a lot of them have to, go into hiding because their military kicked them out, banned them from the country, like that. Exile them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Here today, tomorrow they gone. They took the next flight out. So get at us. That's something to think about. We definitely would love to hear your perspective. Get at us at themanperspective@gmail.com and let us hear your perspective on what do you think about the nominee and whether or not he should have waited until they at least put the woman in the ground instead of just giving your nominated pick ahead of schedule. So get at us at The Man Perspective. Now you heard our perspective. It's time to hear yours. Get at us at themanperspective@gmail.com.
Or use the hashtag #TheManPerspective.